It is reported that people have seen Camilla appeared multiple times around that place.
A shocking revelation has just surfaced from within Kensington Palace as Princess Catherine inadvertently came into possession of secret documents directly connected to the 1997 tragedy of Princess Diana. These leaked pieces of evidence unexpectedly expose a ruthless conspiracy that has allegedly been concealed for nearly 3 decades, pointing directly toward Queen Camilla, who is suspected of having been the person behind the orchestration of the tragedy in order to clear the path for her entry into the royal family. The appearance of this strange piece of evidence immediately triggered an extraordinarily brutal covert confrontation between Catherine and Camilla. While Catherine is reportedly determined to investigate in silence and seek justice for her late mother-in-law, Camilla is said to have descended into panic hurriedly, using power and intimidation in an attempt to destroy every trace and erase the crimes of the past before it is too late. Will Catherine be able to safely bring the entire truth before the Royal Council? Or will this suffocating battle of wits push the turmoil within the royal family to a dangerously new level? What fate awaits Camilla now that the ghosts of the past have officially come crashing back? According to internal sources cited by the British media, the tragedy that occurred on an August night in 1997 in Paris has always remained a painful void within the royal family. However, an entirely new development is said to have erupted inside Kensington Palace last month. While reviewing and reorganizing the entirety of Prince William's personal photo archives, Princess Catherine inadvertently discovered a number of serious irregularities. A source close to the matter revealed that among the countless photographs preserving memories from the past, Catherine noticed one particular file containing the final photograph taken together of the late Princess Diana and the Prince of Wales when he was still a child. Notably, behind this emotionally significant photograph were not the usual commemorative notes. According to leaked reports, Catherine discovered 2 written documents that had been inserted with extraordinary care and secrecy. The first document was titled Vehicle Technical Inspection Record, while the second was titled Emergency Medical Report. Both documents reportedly carried timestamps indicating that they had been issued directly on the night of the catastrophic 1997 incident in France. At first, when she came across the 2 sheets of paper, the Princess of Wales is said to have made a relatively simple assessment. She believed they were most likely merely backup copies or extracted documents from the official investigation files that the police had once handed over to the royal family during the process of clarifying the case all those years ago. However, as Catherine began analyzing and cross-checking every smallest detail contained in the documents, questions started to emerge. According to international press sources, Catherine discovered a series of irregular signs concerning the legal authenticity of the 2 documents. First, the document reference codes did not match the standard archival systems used by either the French authorities or the British police at that time. When closely examining the verification signatures of the parties involved, she reportedly noticed clear signs of digital interference, an indication that details intended to establish authenticity had been altered or reconstructed. The most important detail that Catherine could not ignore was the fact that both documents bore the internal seal of a completely independent private entity, rather than the official seal of government authorities or public emergency services. This detail immediately raised suspicions that the 2 documents had never been part of Kensington Palace's official archives in the first place. Realizing that the presence of these 2 documents inside William's private file could not have been a mere coincidence, Catherine began to suspect that an unidentified individual had deliberately placed them there, inserting them in the most noticeable position possible in order to attract her attention. Faced with a discovery of extreme sensitivity and one that carried the potential to directly affect the image of the royal family, Princess Catherine reportedly made an exceptionally cautious decision. According to leaked information, she decided to keep the matter absolutely secret, revealing it to no one, not even those closest to her, and immediately launched a covert investigation to determine both the origin of the documents and the true purpose of whoever had left this evidence behind. Will the personnel identification numbers and the seal of the private entity appearing on these 2 mysterious reports lead Catherine to a historic witness? According to leaked reports from sources close to the media, immediately after discovering serious irregularities in the concealed documents, Princess Catherine reportedly began carrying out the initial verification steps with extreme caution. Using the personnel identification numbers and the remaining operational details found on the two fabricated technical and medical reports, she conducted a meticulous examination of the palace's old personnel database. This quiet search quickly led Catherine to a crucial lead, a former assistant who had once been directly responsible for administrative duties and internal operations under Queen Camilla in 1997. To ensure absolute secrecy and avoid attracting any attention from the public or other members of the palace, Catherine is said to have arranged a completely private meeting with this former assistant. The encounter took place at a secluded location, entirely removed from the routine surveillance of the media and royal security units. During the meeting, when confronted with the technical evidence presented by Catherine, the former assistant, after a period of hesitation, decided to reveal all of the shocking information connected to the historic tragedy. According to this witness's account, Catherine was left utterly stunned when it was formally confirmed that the two documents she had discovered, including the vehicle technical inspection record and the emergency medical report, were not legal documents issued by either French or British authorities at all. In reality, they were sophisticated fabrications created by a group of individuals acting under covert instructions. Internal sources revealed that the former assistant then made a decisive claim it was Camilla, who at the time was known as Prince Charles's mistress, who stood behind the entire dark plan. In 1997, with the aim of creating a flawless narrative that would steer global public opinion toward believing the event was nothing more than a straightforward traffic accident, Camilla is alleged to have secretly hired private technical specialists to directly interfere with the operating system of the vehicle carrying Diana. Immediately after the catastrophic incident occurred, this group was allegedly further instructed to produce falsified reports stating that the vehicle had suffered a sudden technical malfunction and lost control while in motion. These fabricated documents were then used to divert the investigations of the relevant authorities while simultaneously crushing any conspiracy-related suspicions from the public and the press at the time. The witness also clarified the core motive that allegedly drove Camilla to make such a ruthless decision. According to analysis based on leaked sources, Camilla's greatest motive at the time was to remove Princess Diana entirely from royal life as well as from the media landscape. Diana's overwhelming presence and immense influence had always been the greatest obstacle preventing Camilla from entering the royal family openly and legitimately. By orchestrating the tragedy and disguising it as an unintended technical accident, Camilla allegedly believed that she would clear the widest possible path for herself to officially stand beside Charles, who at the time was Prince of Wales and heir to the throne. The full extent of these direct revelations from the former assistant reportedly plunged Princess Catherine into a state of profound psychological shock. Her initial doubts about the authenticity of the two sheets of paper tucked behind the commemorative photograph had now transformed into an extraordinarily brutal picture of the truth surrounding the 1997 tragedy. The revelation that documents had allegedly been falsified to conceal direct interference with Diana's vehicle opened an entirely new direction for the secret investigation Catherine was carrying alone. Sources close to the matter claimed that after fully recording the testimony and verification details provided by the former assistant, Catherine realized that the scale of the case had gone far beyond her initial suspicions. However, in order to bring this truth into the light and confront the most powerful figures involved, she understood that she would need more than personal testimony. Identifying the person who had directly inserted the two documents into William's file became her next urgent objective, one that could strengthen the entire chain of legal evidence. Will the identity of the person who directly placed this set of fabricated documents into William's file provide the final pieces of physical evidence needed to expose the entire truth? According to internal media sources, after gathering the first clues surrounding the irregularities in the documents, Princess Catherine continued expanding the scope of her secret investigation in order to identify the person who had directly placed the two documents inside Prince William's personal file. Through persistence and extreme caution, Catherine quickly managed to reach this key figure, a longtime technical employee who was also a trusted servant who had worked under Camilla for several decades. Sources close to the matter revealed that this man was the direct link who had assisted in creating the falsified vehicle inspection records and medical reports on the night of the 1997 tragedy. Now having reached the later years of his life and preparing to officially retire, he was reportedly enduring severe psychological torment. The guilt that had haunted him for nearly 30 years had made it impossible for him to remain silent any longer, and he decided that he did not want to carry the crushing burden of this terrible wrongdoing with him to the grave. During an extraordinarily discreet private meeting, personally arranged by Catherine, the former servant was unable to conceal his trembling and emotion as he came face to face with the Princess of Wales. Catherine began the conversation in a calm but resolute tone. "According to the information I have gathered, you were one of the people who came into direct contact with these files all those years ago. Tell me, why did those two documents appear inside William's personal photo file?" The former servant lowered his head, his choked voice filled with profound remorse. "Your Royal Highness, I was the one who secretly placed those two original documents inside the Prince of Wales's file. I know that I committed an unforgivable crime by helping falsify those documents years ago under Mrs. Camilla's instructions. Now that my retirement is approaching, I cannot simply close my eyes and walk away, while the ghosts of the past continue to torment me night after night. I understand that Prince William and your Royal Highness have always longed to uncover the complete truth for the late Princess Diana. That is why I took the risk of slipping them into the commemorative photo file, hoping that either your Royal Highness or the Prince would discover them." Catherine listened to every word of his testimony with restrained shock, then continued questioning him in order to clarify the authenticity and extent of what had happened. "Do you understand the consequences and the danger involved in deciding to reopen this entire matter now? Do you have any evidence proving Mrs. Camilla's involvement beyond those two reports?" The former servant raised his head, his eyes are revealing a determination to atone for the mistakes of the past. "Your Royal Highness, I accept whatever punishment may come from the law and the royal family. For decades, I have lived under threats and with unbearable guilt. The falsification of the vehicle technical reports and medical records that year was part of a cruel chain of wrongdoing that I was pressured and enticed into taking part in. Now, I no longer wish to conceal anything. I am willing to cooperate fully with your Royal Highness, provide every internal detail I know, and come forward as a witness so that the entire truth can finally be brought into the light." After directly witnessing the remorse of the former accomplice and hearing his commitment to complete cooperation, Catherine reportedly realized that he was the most important link capable of connecting the entire chain of events. The former servant's testimony not only confirmed the origin of the two falsified documents, but also exposed the motive behind the alleged orchestration of the tragedy for Camilla's personal objectives in 1997. Recognizing that the safety of this witness could be threatened if the information were leaked, Catherine reportedly took the initiative to plan secret protection for the former servant, while simultaneously preparing the next steps required to formally record his entire testimony through legal procedures. The courageous decision of the soon-to-retire servant had now officially transformed the initial suspicions into a solid body of evidence, opening a decisive turning point in the effort to expose the truth behind the historic tragedy. How will Camilla react when she discovers the betrayal of her trusted servant and Catherine's increasingly deep involvement? According to leaked reports from sources close to the media, the atmosphere inside Kensington Palace and the royal offices began to grow unbearably tense. Princess Catherine's quiet efforts to gather documents connected to the night of the 1997 tragedy, combined with her repeated secret meetings with the former assistant and retired technical employee, ultimately failed to escape Queen Camilla's surveillance network. When Camilla realized that Catherine had gained access to the most sensitive files, and was gradually reconstructing the truth piece by piece, she immediately descended into a state of panic and profound fear. The ghosts of the past, seemingly buried forever for nearly 30 years, had suddenly returned, threatening to destroy the position and reputation she had worked so hard to build. Faced with the danger of exposure, Camilla reportedly rushed to implement emergency measures aimed at erasing every remaining trace. Internal sources revealed that instead of relying on intermediaries as she had done before, Camilla made a bold decision. She would personally meet with the former servant, the key witness who now possessed the technical drafts and who had placed the documents inside William's file. Camilla's objective in arranging this meeting was unmistakable: to use power and intimidation to break the servant's resistance and force him to assume full responsibility. She wanted this witness to declare publicly and internally that the entire collection of falsified documents had been fabricated by him alone as part of an attempt to blackmail and extort the royal family. However, Camilla could not have anticipated that every move and intention on her part had already been taken into account by the Princess of Wales. Recognizing Camilla's plan to silence the key witness and reverse the situation, Catherine proactively met with the former servant in private to prepare a response. She gently reassured him, instructing him to remain absolutely calm, pretend to be frightened, and agree to Camilla's meeting exactly as requested. At the same time, in order to obtain decisive evidence with absolute legal value, Catherine instructed the servant to secretly conceal an extremely small and sophisticated recording device inside his clothing before entering this dangerous encounter. The private confrontation between Camilla and the former servant took place in a secluded room where Camilla believed no one would be able to listen or intervene. Just as Catherine had predicted, the moment Camilla entered the room, she immediately adopted an extremely aggressive attitude and unleashed a series of severe threats. She repeatedly applied psychological pressure, forcing the servant to sign a written confession in which he would admit to blackmail in order to protect the reputation of both the royal family and Camilla herself. Faced with the former servant's persistent refusal and deliberately hesitant behavior, Camilla gradually began to lose control of her emotions. Extreme panic combined with fury pushed her directly into the psychological trap that had been prepared in advance. During the tense struggle and intense battle of wits, Camilla accidentally let slip a series of shocking truths. She allegedly not only admitted that she herself had paid private parties years earlier to orchestrate and interfere with the vehicle carrying Princess Diana in order to create the tragedy, but also revealed her ruthless nature through direct threats against the former servant. In a moment of complete loss of control, Camilla reportedly hissed that she was fully capable of destroying him and his family in silence, exactly the same way she had once ordered the destruction and disappearance of all original evidence in 1997. Every direct confession, every blatant threat, and every detail acknowledging the orchestration of the accident from Camilla's own mouth was captured perfectly by the recording device, clearly and without any background interference. Immediately after the meeting ended, the former servant left safely and handed the complete original recording file directly to Princess Catherine. As Catherine and her closest associates listened back to each section of the conversation, they understood that they were now holding evidence capable of becoming a historic turning point. Camilla's undeniable confession, combined with the falsified technical reports and the testimony of the former assistant, formed a complete chain of evidence capable of crushing every possible defense. Camilla's panic and attempted counter-blackmail had not erased the trail. On the contrary, they had placed her in a position of complete collapse before both the law and the royal council. With the priceless recording containing Camilla's full confession now in her possession, what steps will Catherine take next as she prepares to enter the life-or-death session of the royal council? According to leaked reports from sources close to the media, after obtaining the complete set of 2 falsified technical and medical documents, the highly valuable recording capturing the incriminating slip, along with direct testimony from the former assistant and the former servant, Princess Catherine decided to take the most important step of all. Recognizing that the body of evidence was now fully consolidated and carried absolute legal weight, she formally submitted a petition requesting the urgent convening of the Royal Council. The closed-door meeting took place in an atmosphere of extraordinary solemnity, presided over by the highest-ranking members, together with the royal legal advisors. As soon as the session began, the Princess of Wales stood before the council, maintaining a calm and composed demeanor as she proceeded to present the entire case file. Catherine's voice rang out firmly, cutting through the tense atmosphere inside the chamber. Members of the council, I stand before you today, not to reopen the pain of the past, but to fulfill my responsibility to protect truth and justice for the royal family. In my possession are 2 falsified vehicle technical and medical reports created on the night of the 1997 tragedy, together with verified testimony from the former assistant and the trusted servant. Most importantly, the recording I am about to submit to the council contains a direct confession admitting to the hiring of individuals to orchestrate the accident and falsify documents in order to erase every trace. Catherine activated the playback device. The clear, cold sound of Camilla's own voice echoed throughout the meeting room, exposing both her threats against the servant and her admission of interference with Princess Diana's vehicle all those years ago. When the recording ended, Catherine looked directly toward the council and continued. This evidence cannot be dismissed or compromised. A truth buried for nearly 30 years has now been given a clear answer. We cannot continue tolerating systemic wrongdoing that damages the credibility of the crown and the honor of the late Princess Diana. I ask the council to review the matter and deliver the fairest possible judgment. Confronted with a body of evidence that shattered every possible line of defense, together with Catherine's forceful statement, Queen Camilla reportedly descended into complete panic and collapse. She sat in stunned silence, unable to offer any rebuttal or explanation capable of defending her actions. The atmosphere in the chamber sank into shock and outrage among the members of the council. After a brief deliberation and a full assessment of the legal validity of the case file, the Royal Council quickly reached agreement on a decisive ruling. Accordingly, the council formally issued an order immediately suspending all of Camilla's official duties, public appearances, and administrative authority. At the same time, legal advisors were instructed to begin the process of reviewing the removal of all of her royal titles. To complete the final legal verification procedures before issuing the official written judgment, the council directly summoned the doctor who had signed the falsified medical report years earlier, together with the former servant. At the hearing, both the doctor and the servant once again confirmed the accuracy of the documents and admitted to having assisted in the wrongdoing under Camilla's direction and inducement. The presence of the witnesses and the consistency of their testimony brought the emergency session to a close, marking Camilla's complete defeat before the truth of history. How will the world react when the Royal Council's decisive ruling and this shocking truth are finally made public? According to international media reports and leaked information from royal observers immediately after the Royal Council's decision was approved, the grim truth that had allegedly been concealed for nearly 30 years surrounding the death of Princess Diana officially came to light, leaving the entire world stunned. The horrific tragedy that occurred on an August night in 1997 inside the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, long concluded and portrayed by the media as a tragic and unintended traffic accident, was now said to have been exposed for what it truly was: a vicious conspiracy, orchestrated and calculated with extraordinary precision, designed to eliminate an icon of compassion. The collapse of this wall of secrecy immediately sent shockwaves through society around the globe. From major newspapers in Britain and the United States to social media platforms across the world, information surrounding the alleged orchestration of the tragedy erupted at an unprecedented speed. International public opinion was swept into an intense wave of emotion, with profound sympathy and boundless grief once again pouring out for the late Princess Diana. People in London and numerous major cities spontaneously gathered in large numbers outside Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace, carrying bouquets of fresh flowers, candles, and countless letters expressing their affection for the people's princess. The painful memories of her sudden death in 1997 came rushing back once again, but this time accompanied by a sense of relief that justice had finally been served and her honor had been fully restored. In stark contrast to the overwhelming sympathy shown toward Diana, an unprecedented wave of fury, condemnation, and public rejection erupted directly against Camilla. The exposure of the entire truth surrounding the alleged hiring of individuals to interfere with the vehicle, the falsification of technical and medical reports, as well as the ruthless threats captured in the recording, turned Camilla into the central target of public outrage. Across news forums and media outlets, people repeatedly condemned what they described as her cruel actions and merciless conspiracy. A widespread boycott movement emerged, stretching from charitable organizations to ordinary members of the public, all of whom firmly turned their backs on her and demanded that her image be completely removed from public life. The severe criticism did not remain confined to online discussions, but quickly transformed into large-scale protest campaigns. Members of the public repeatedly demanded the permanent removal of every royal title, benefit, and privilege held by Camilla, insisting that an individual allegedly responsible for such a catastrophic conspiracy could never possess the moral standing required to remain within the ranks of the royal family. Public anger reached its peak when the legal evidence was said to establish that she had been the ruthless third party who not only destroyed a family's happiness, but also directly caused the tragedy that befell the late princess. The exposure of this entire shocking truth officially brought the greatest royal tragedy in modern history to a close. Princess Catherine's unwavering determination, together with the courageous decisions of the witnesses, brought the 1997 case out of the darkest corners of history and ended decades of suspicion and speculation. The painful tragedy came to an end in transparency, restoring the late Princess Diana's innocence while simultaneously delivering a devastating blow to the dark conspiracies surrounding the case, bringing Camilla's entire standing before history and the global public to a definitive end. What do you think about Catherine's quiet yet extraordinarily determined investigation, as well as the fate that ultimately awaited Camilla in this story? In your opinion, what profound meaning or lesson does this tragedy and the truth uncovered after nearly 30 years offer about justice and the price of deception? Before you go, we'd just like to say thank you. Every story you watch here is the result of hours of research and careful storytelling. If you enjoyed today's video, we'd truly appreciate your like and subscription. We know it takes a few extra seconds on a TV remote, but your support helps us keep creating even more thoughtful, high-quality stories.